and welcome to Kitchen Notes from Nancy. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome you to my channel, and I hope you decide to subscribe before you leave today. And if you're a returning visitor, I'd like to greet you with the customary, hey neighbor. In today's video, I am sharing with you one of my favorite kind of, I don't want to call it a one pot meal, but it kind of sort of is because it's self-contained. Today, I am going to show you how to make the best stuffed peppers. So, if you want to learn how I make my stuffed bell peppers, then all you gotta do is stay tuned. But before we hop into it, you know what I need from you. Go ahead, smash that like button, and let me know that you like the content I'm putting out. And also let other people on YouTube know they need to come and see what we're doing over here. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. Okay, so let's hop into these ingredients. For the meat options for this, I'm going to be using some Italian sausage and also ground turkey. Typically people use ground beef, but as a lighter option tonight, I'm going to use the ground turkey, and I am going to be taking the Italian sausage out of its casing. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. You're going to need an onion, and I'm not using this whole onion. I'm probably going to use half of this onion. Of course, you need bell peppers. Here I have 4 medium-sized peppers. For my other toppings, I have some tomato sauce. We're going to use some of that. Some diced tomatoes. We're going to use some of that. Minced garlic. Alright. And Worcestershire sauce. And for our seasonings, remember, I cook with cayenne pepper, but you can always omit it if you don't like heat. But we're going to be using a little cayenne pepper, a little pink Himalayan salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, slap your mama. So y'all know my usual suspects, but for this dish we are going to add in a little bit of ground cumin. Now, you are going to need some rice. This rice has already been cooked. I did it in my rice cooker earlier today. And little tip, I cooked this with chicken broth instead of water. I added 1 little bouillon cube in the water, and it seasons your rice for you without you having to do a whole lot. We're going to be using 2 types of cheeses. Y'all know I like cheese, okay? you know. But I am going to be using some Monterey Jack cheese and also some medium cheddar today. I consider pepper jack, but you know, Monterey Jack is gonna be fine for your girl. I don't, believe it or not, even though I use cayenne pepper, I don't like tons of just up in your face spice. So I'm gonna stop talking a little bit, and I am going to cut to a clip of me handling the bell pepper. I'm gonna show you exactly what I do to those. So with your bell pepper, you want peppers that can kind of sit up on their own. That's exactly what I got. And if they don't sit up on their own, you can just take your knife and make the bottoms flat. But because mine do, I'm kind of good with that. So the first thing that I do is I'm gonna take my knife and right across the top, I'm gonna slice. And then what we're going to do is we're going to clean all of this stuff, and this works a little better with a paring knife. I just used this knife because it's the one I had in my hand. But you take a paring knife and you want to get all of this white stuff out of it. So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you. So then I take the smaller knife and I just cut all of this stuff out of my pepper. And if you want to leave some of it, that's on you, but I just prefer to have it all out of my pepper. And there you go. you end up with a clean pepper. And I'm gonna rinse this off really quick. But again, this one kind of sits up. I'm gonna put this top to the side because I do something else with that top. But if we want to make it perfectly flat, voila. You just take the little bottom off like I did, and I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm saving all of that. I'm gonna show you what I do with it. So, what I'm gonna do, go ahead, clean out the rest of them, and then we'll come back to the top. Okay, so now with the tops of those bell peppers, I am going to cut the green parts off, and we're actually going to use them inside of the pepper. Some people use the tops to decorate, but I prefer to add a little bit of bell pepper into my stuffed peppers. And if you're wondering why there are only going to be 3 peppers now, when I was cutting in one of the 4, it looked a little wonky, and so instead of using it, I'm just gonna do the 3. I don't want to use the other one because it looks a little funky, and so yeah, that's that. So I'm gonna cut these up, and then I'll be back with you shortly. All right, now I'm going to take that onion, and I'm only gonna use about half of it. This is an abnormally shaped onion. I'm gonna save the rest of it, and we're just going to kind of dice this up a little bit, and then we're gonna get ready to saute all of our things. So we're gonna get this diced up and then head over to the stove. So I have some water here that I started boiling before I started, and I'm just gonna add some salt to it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take the peppers and submerge them in this water for about 3 to 4 minutes. And this step is extremely important. You do not want to omit it. A lot of times when people have stuffed peppers that they don't really like, it's because they're still a little crunchy. And if they're a little crunchy, it's because whoever prepared them didn't parboil them. So you can parboil, which is this right here, which is to boil before, or you can par-bake them. I prefer the boiling water. It helps to soften them a bit more. And we're only gonna do this for about 4 minutes. You don't want them to get mushy. So while this happens, I am going to get ready to fry up our ingredient. Now, for our meat stuffing, we're using sausage and ground turkey. Remember, I told you you can use ground beef if you want. You can make this vegetarian and use like mushrooms, or whatever you want. But what I'm gonna do today is, since I had this sausage, because you know you can buy it ground, but I had this one and I didn't want to waste it. I'm just going to take 3 of the Italian sausages out of the casing. And this is mild sausage. And you've seen me do this before. It's just, you know, taking the wrapping off so I can get the sausage out. Alright. And as soon as we get this on, we're going to take those peppers out of the hot water. They're on the other eye over here cooking. But you don't want them to get mushy. So like I said, you only want to do that for about 4 minutes. The magic of TV makes it possible for me to do both of these things at one time. Alright. And then now I'm just gonna slice that ground turkey open and drop it in. Alright. So TV magic time. It's been about 4 minutes. So I am going to take each pepper, and it's gotten softer, but it's still that bright green, and that's what you want. And they're gonna be really, really hot, so be careful. All right, that one is nice and soft. And then this one. So now what we're going to do with this is we're just going to sit them to the side. All right, so now we have our sausage and ground turkey. And I'm just going to start to break this up a bit. And then we'll start seasoning it up. Go ahead and start seasoning this up. I'm gonna go in with some Cajun seasoning, and remember, all of this season to your own taste. That's what I tell you guys all the time in regards to this. Now the ground cumin, probably gonna go in with about 1/4 of a teaspoon. This is a new bottle, so it may look like I'm putting a lot in there, but it wasn't a whole bunch. Go in with some onion powder. Y'all know I love that. Some garlic powder. Black pepper. You gotta season that food. That is the key to good cooking. Oh, and if you were wondering what I had put in here, I did put just a little bit of grapeseed oil. And that was just to, you know, add just a little bit of oil to it because we're using ground turkey and it's fairly lean. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and add those peppers and onions that we chopped up. Okay. And when it's time to add the garlic, once the meat is almost done, and when it's time to add the garlic, once the meat is almost done, I'm going to bring you guys back. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven as well. I'm preheating my oven to 400 degrees. So that when we get ready to use it, it will be ready. Okay, so we are back. And it took me a little minute. I had to call my grandmama. It is her birthday. So drop down in the comment section if you have made it to this part of the video and wish my grandmama, Miss Bessie, a happy birthday. A lot of my recipes are things that I have learned from my grandmama. So y'all can thank her for some of the awesome recipes that I put out. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of garlic here. So I got held up just a little bit, but it was for an awesome reason. I will stop anything to talk to my grandmama. So, all right, that garlic is in there, and while we wait for it to finish, I am going to start adding some things. So we're going to add some of our cooked rice. And I put a little bit of grapeseed oil in here because the ground turkey, you know, is very, very lean. And so there's really no need to drain at this point. And I used probably about 1.5 cups of the rice, the cooked. Now that's cooked. Total, I cooked 1 cup of uncooked rice, and I think like 1 cup of uncooked rice makes like 3 cups of cooked rice. Don't quote me on that, okay? Y'all know I'm a pinch and dash type cook, but I think total that's about 2 cups of rice here. And remember, the only thing that I cooked that rice in was some chicken broth. I added a bouillon cube to the water. Alright, so now we're gonna keep working with our stuffing. I'm gonna go in with some Worcestershire sauce, probably about 3 tablespoons worth. Gonna give that a little stir. Now you can add corn to this, you can add cabbage to this, and when it starts to cool off, I think I may do another rendition in which I do some stuffed peppers using like cabbage and corn, some heartier things, once the weather starts to cool off. And it's almost impossible to think about the weather cooling off here in Alabama because it has been so hot lately, guys. Like, we are running 100-degree days easy. All right, so I'm going to take some of those diced tomatoes. I'm gonna use about 1/2 can. All right, and I'm gonna start turning this on low because there's not much liquid in it right now. You know what? There is no need in saving the rest of those tomatoes. Drop them right over in there. I love tomatoes. And y'all know when I first started, I told you that Italian seasoning would be good, and you didn't see me add that, but I'm about to go in with some. I don't know, whenever I drop tomatoes in something, I just feel like it needs a little Italian seasoning. I mean, you know, that's the thing about cooking. It's all to your interpretation. So now what we're going to do is take 1/2 of this tomato sauce. Now we are going to reserve the other 1/2 to help us top this. All right, looking delicious, looking delicious. So now we are going to go in with just a little bit of cheese. This is an 8-ounce container of cheese. So I'm gonna go in with about 4 ounces of the shredded cheese. Of the shredded mild, medium cheddar. And we're going to mix that in so that it adds a little substance to our stuffed peppers. Y'all know, next to butter, cheese is my thing. If cheese can't make it good, if butter and cheese can't make something good, you just need to hang it up. All right, so we are going to turn this off. This is our mixture. We can actually give this a little taste. See what we're working with. Woo, I dropped that all over the stove. Okay. So based off of that taste, I'm gonna go in with a little more slap your mama, and that's just gonna kind of seal everything else up for me. let's get to the other part of this little situation. So here are my peppers. I'm gonna take a little of this sauce and create like a little, you know, little bed situation for them. Just something for them to sit in. Nothing too fancy, nothing too fancy. And y'all, we're gonna have a bunch of stuffing. You could have done, I'm doing 3. You could have easily done 6 to 8 bell peppers with the amount of stuffing that I'm making. So we may have bell peppers again this week. So now I'm gonna take the Monterey cheddar, and I'm just gonna drop a little bit of that in the bottom. And again, if you don't like cheese the way I do, hey, this is your show here. Run it the way you want to, but I like cheese. So now I'm gonna take a tablespoon so that I can really get that stuffing down off in there. And I like my bell peppers to be extra stuffed. Like, I like them completely full, like as full as I can get them. Yeah, you could have easily done 8 bell peppers with this stuffing, but we're only gonna do 3. It's just 2 of us. We were gonna do 4, but again, ended up with that funky looking one. It happens, especially when you're not picking your own groceries. And you know, with everything going on, grocery pickup is, I'm gonna just turn this around so I can get that closer. Grocery pickup is our friend, and sometimes they don't necessarily pick the best produce. But, oh well. They're out on the front lines, and you know, we thank them. So, boom. We got 3 stuffed peppers. Now, without me telling you, somebody tell me what I'm about to do. Y'all know, I'm about to put cheese. Now, we're gonna take just a little tomato sauce, add to the top. You know, nothing too fancy, nothing too fancy. Yeah, we're gonna have stuffed peppers again. And I'm gonna do boop boop. I probably should have waited. I should have waited. I'm gonna wait before I put any more cheese because I like to cook them covered first. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cover them, stick them in the oven for about 25 minutes. Then I'm gonna uncover them and I'm gonna add some more of that Monterey Jack to the top of them, and we'll cook them for about 10 minutes. So let's get that. So don't do like you saw me do. Don't add cheese right now because you're gonna cook it covered. So don't do that. I got a little carried away. Alright, so we are about to stick these in the oven for 25 minutes on 400. And that's kind of loosely wrapped because I had already put the cheese on it. I want y'all to see how much stuff that I have left. Like, you could have done so many peppers, okay? So, either we're gonna have peppers later this week, or what I may do is just freeze this in a bag, and then the next time I want peppers, I'll just thaw it, and all I'll have to do is flash do the peppers, and then I'll put the stuff in there. But like this is a good stretch meal. Like, you can make a lot of this for just a little bit of money. So I'll come back once the peppers are done. So these were in the oven for 20 minutes on 400 degrees. So what I'm going to actually do now, is top them with more cheese. And then I'm gonna cook them for about 5 to 10 more minutes uncovered until this Monterey Jack cheese melts, and then we'll be finished. So I'm about to throw them back in for about 10 more minutes. So I just took these out of the oven and I topped them with just a little bit of parsley, and I wanted to make sure that you got a view of the inside. So I'm going to take a butter knife and just slice that pepper, and you see how easily it cuts, and that's the inside. It's nice and tender. Wanted to give y'all kind of a up close, kind of view there. See if it'll focus. That's hot. There we go. So nice up close view of the pepper there. Let's give it a taste. The pepper is super tender, so make sure that you blanch them and you'll be good to go. You don't have to worry about having that leftover crunchy pepperness. So as always, thank y'all so much, and until next time, bye neighbors.